been quite the hectic year for the legendary band The Who, when several months ago during a performance, vocalist Roger Daltrey, as you may remember, appeared to call out drummer Zak Starkey on stage. He apparently was unhappy with his playing during that performance, and afterwards, Starkey indicated he had been let go from the band, a band he was drumming for behind the kit for nearly 3 decades. Very unfortunate situation there. Now, he responded on his own social media. This was picked up around the world. And then after that, following a conversation, Starkey was then brought back into the band. And in a very surprising turn of events, he was let go from the group a short time after that. Really crazy, volatile situation with The Who this year, as I mentioned. And now in a brand new interview, we're hearing the perspective of Roger Daltrey in all of this, and he's sort of pointing the finger at Zak Starkey, saying that being called out by him, the son of Ringo Starr, was quite hurtful when this all went down earlier this year, giving a little bit more insight into sort of the crazy things that have been happening with this legendary band. Here's what we know. For nearly 3 decades, Zak Starkey has been the powerhouse behind the kit for The Who. As the son of Beatles legend Ringo Starr, he had the pedigree, but he earned the spot with one of rock's most iconic bands through sheer talent and endurance. But this year, that long-standing relationship came to a dramatic and very public end. It started with a controversial performance, followed by a firing, a rehiring, and then another firing for good. In the months since, a war of words has played out in the press between Starkey and The Who's legendary frontman, Roger Daltrey. Now, Starkey has made some pretty blunt claims about what really happened on stage, but now Daltrey is firing back, calling the drummer's comments incredibly upsetting and offering a completely different version of the events that led to the chaotic split. And what he says happened changes the entire story. Now, the whole thing traces back to a charity show at London's legendary Royal Albert Hall back in March. During the set, things got visibly tense. A video clip from the performance of The Song Is Over circulated widely online, and it appeared to show Roger Daltrey getting frustrated with Zak Starkey. To anyone watching, it looked like a classic case of a band member messing up on stage, Daltrey himself initially accusing Starkey of playing too loudly and making mistakes. The fallout was swift. Starkey was out of the band. But Zak Starkey wasn't going to let that be the final word on his nearly 30-year tenure. He came out swinging in the press, adamant that he was not the one at fault. He claimed it was actually Daltrey who made the critical error, supposedly missing his cue for the intro of The Song Is Over. Speaking to Rolling Stone, Starkey said that Daltrey just got lost. He was even more direct in an interview with The Telegraph, where he laid it out plain and simple, stating what happened was, I got it right, and Roger got it wrong. For fans, it was a messy public dispute involving a core part of the band's modern lineup. Starkey wasn't just a hired gun, he was a fixture for nearly 30 years. And his version of the story painted a picture of a frontman who made a mistake and then blamed his drummer for it. Now, for a while, that was the narrative. But now, Roger Daltrey has given a new extensive interview with The Times, and he's not holding back about how Starkey's public statements affected him. Responding directly to Starkey's claims, Daltrey said, it was kind of a character assassination, and it was incredibly upsetting. He added that the drummer's response to the whole situation, quote, was crippling to me. And this is where the story takes a major turn. Up until now, it seemed like a dispute over who messed up a song. But Daltrey reveals that the core of the issue at the Royal Albert Hall show wasn't about a miscue at all, but a technical disaster that no one in the audience could have possibly understood. According to Daltrey, the problem was with the sound in his in-ear monitors. During live shows, The Who uses electronic drums so Daltrey can hear them clearly and stay on pitch. He explained, it's controlled by a guy on the side, and we had so much sub-bass in the sound of the drums that I couldn't pitch. He then describes a situation that sounds like a singer's absolute nightmare. He said, I was pointing to the bass drum and screaming at him because it was like flying a plane without seeing the horizon. So when Zak thought I was having a go at him, I wasn't. That's all that happened. Now, suddenly the viral video looks completely different. Daltrey's frantic gesturing, which seemed to be aimed at his drummer, was actually a desperate attempt to get the sound tech's attention to fix the problem that was making it impossible for him to perform and sing for the fans. As Daltrey put it, he said, an audience can see what's happening on stage and have a complete misunderstanding of what's actually going on. This is quite an interesting perspective here from Roger Daltrey. So if it was all just a technical glitch and a big misunderstanding, you'd think it was something the band could have worked through. But Daltrey makes it clear that even with this explanation, the decision was final. He delivered a pretty cold, hard statement about the business reality of the band. He said, "Pete and I retain the right to be the Who. Everyone else is a session player." Wow. He concluded by saying, "You can't replace Keith Moon. We wanted to branch out, and that's all I want to say about it." So this is really interesting here because you have Zak Starkey saying that he was let go because he wasn't playing correctly. He's spoken a lot about that. Daltrey is saying that he misunderstood him. The video looks like he's mad at Starkey, but Roger Daltrey is essentially refuting that sequence of events while also not telling us exactly what happened. So kind of an unusual response there. He doesn't clear up or offer any clarification. He just says people's assumptions about this are untrue, but no word yet on why he actually let Starkey go if it wasn't for this viral moment on stage where he seemed to be getting aggravated at him. And also, the timeline that this happened is right around the time of that show. So it's unclear at this point what actually happened. Fans, of course, are going to make up their own minds with the situation. But as always, I'd love to hear from y'all as to what you think is going on here. I'm not sure that this all makes sense from Roger Daltrey's point of view. We don't know what led up to this, and I don't think this is going to change Starkey's opinion about why he was let go. We'll have to wait and see how this all unfolds. As always, let me know what you think, and be sure to subscribe and notifications on for the latest news and updates about your favorite bands right here at Rockfeed.